Having fallen in love with rock and roll at an early age, she began her career in live music in 1995 as an apprentice engineer at R.G. Jones Sound Engineering in London. After 5 years learning her craft, she went freelance and toured as a monitor tech with the Black Crowes, Kylie Minogue and Travis, before moving behind the desk to mix monitors for artists including a-ha, Muse, Il Divo, Anastasia and Westlife. My favourites. In 2012, she diversified her interests and trained to teach her other passion, which is yoga. So she teaches the artists and the bands that she tours with and styles herself as the rock and roll yogi. At the weekend, just gone, she was mixing monitors for Take That in Dubai, but she's back in London for what could be the greatest night of our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, Becky Pell. Oh no, that's me, isn't it? No, sorry. Confused, so excited. Becky, hello.
Hello.
I'm going to do the really crappy interview question. And how did you get started? You say 1995, working with R.G. Jones.
Yeah. It started a long time before that. I went to see a band and sat behind the front of house engineer and suddenly realised that there was a whole industry behind the music that I was crazy about, and it looked much better than a proper job. And so I decided to pursue that. I ended up doing a college course, studio sound, that it wasn't really where I wanted to go. I wanted to do live. Long story short, wrote to everybody I could possibly think of. And
like we all do.
And
like we all did.
Yeah. Didn't have emails back then.
Yeah, I've still got my letter to Yamaha. Oh, I'm not supposed to mention it. But they didn't give me a job. Just.
I'll give you a job then.
Thanks. That was rolling, everybody.
And I got offered a position as an apprentice at R.G. Jones, and very quickly realised I knew absolutely nothing, and loaded a lot of trucks, cleaned a lot of cables, and then it went from there. Okay,
so 20 years later.
Yeah. Very nice full circle twist. I ended up mixing that same band that I went to see when I was 12, which was a-ha. I ended up touring with them for 5 years.
And and then you were at Glastonbury.
Glastonbury was I was looked after monitors on the main stage there this year, which was Glastonbury in '95 was actually my very first job in the industry at all, which was literally backstage dog's body for no pay. So that was a really lovely, again 20 years later, heading up monitors on the main stage.
Right. And it says here the Dalai Lama.
Met the Dalai Lama. Yeah, didn't do his monitors.
No. I suppose he's big on. What about the guitar side? Did he need any of that? Oh, there's gamelan. No, nothing going on there.
No.
Okay, so if I might say, Becky, you are a woman.
Good God.
That was it. I mean, there is a kind of you can't help but the fact there are so few women in our industry. Yeah. I mean, women who've been in our magazine in Europe. I think there's Bryony October, who's another sort of monitor engineer. But I'm struggling to think of a third. Maybe that's just me. But what are the? Oh, and Darren De La Soul. Sorry, obviously.
No, there's many more women working there.
Well, okay.
Another one over here.
Yeah, all right. All right. So, do you want me to leave?
It's fair to say we're a minority.
Yeah. So is that because the opportunities aren't there, or the stereotypes are there, or?
I think it's an interesting question when I get asked this, because I'm one of the ones who is doing it, so I kind of don't know why more aren't, to be honest. I think you see more women in lighting than you do in sound. I'm not quite sure why that is.
Because it's easier. It's a cheap gag, but the only lamp is it. Is anybody in the audio community going to disagree with me? No, there you go.
I think there's a perception of it being maybe very kind of roughy, tufty, roady, farty, sweary, and let's be honest, it is like that a lot of the time. But I don't think that's a reason to be put off, and I think if it's what you really want to do, yeah, for me it was never a reason not to. So I'm not sure why there aren't more women. I think it's getting better. I think it's improving. Yeah. I'm seeing more younger women starting to come through.
Okay. You say you've gained a reputation for being able to deal with difficult artists.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about?
I've my own back there, haven't I?
With examples, obviously.
Well, I can't possibly give you examples. That'd be far too indiscreet. No, I seem to have, exactly that, gained a reputation for dealing with some tricky ones. But a lot of times I've been, got the phone call, come do such a body, need to warn you, they're a bit of a handful, or, you'll tell people what you're doing, and they'll say, God, they're hard work, you're going to have your work cut out there. And almost invariably, I haven't found that to be the case. And I've generally, I think, is it like dogs, you don't show fear? I don't know. Some people can be demanding, for sure. And I won't put up with any rudeness, but I've generally found that people's reputations aren't always as bad as they've been made out to be.
I've seen that. Is that the Henry Rollins quote that I've seen backstage about how you should just get on with it and don't think you're anything special? And I've seen that and sort of stuck up photograph.
Absolutely, yeah.
And about that you're just a cog and everybody plays a part. And
yeah.
There's more of that than you think, perhaps, rather than the blue M&Ms and the.
That certainly exists, but communication is the thing. It's if you treat the artists with friendliness but professional attitude, explain to them what you're doing, get them working with you, and be proactive, and don't. I think people sort of run scared of somebody with a difficult reputation, and rather than just seeing them as they're just another human being.
Kylie, that's what I want to say after that.
Yeah.
You have a long history with Kylie.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I toured with her as a monitor and RF tech for about 7 or 8 years.
Is she difficult?
No, she's lovely.
That's what everybody says, isn't it?
She's lovely. We love Kylie, yeah. Yeah, she's a sweetheart, absolute professional. The most difficult thing about her is that people think she's miming, and she's not. She doesn't mime a note, but she does get it absolutely right every night. So.
I saw I think the Fever tour in Manchester.
Yeah, that was the first tour I did.
Yeah, and that I was amazed. If you'd have told me that as a 30-something-year-old who hated the records, the Stock Aitken and Wharton records, that I would think that Kylie live was one of the best shows that I'd ever seen. I'd tell me to get out of the room.
Yeah.
But it's quite something.
Yeah, she's an absolute professional. She is a performer and an entertainer in the broadest sense of the word.
And what's the story about pyjamas?
Pyjamas. Always pack pyjamas when you go on tour, kids. The first night of the night before the first show of my first Kylie tour, was staying in the Cardiff Hilton, and off I went to bed that night. And, got up in the night as you do, needing to use the bathroom. Went into the bathroom, heard a door go shkum behind me. Not the bathroom. Not wearing pyjamas or anything else for that matter. And my colleague, I knew there was a colleague in the room next to me, but I also knew his girlfriend was over for the night, so that wasn't going to go down very well. So I thought, well, I'll go down to the spa. There's bound to be a towel there, something. Trying to think.
You mean in the hotel rather than the corner shop?
Right, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Tesco local though. But that was locked, and so I tried to find some backstairs down to reception, but they just led to the car park, and it transpired that the only way down was in the lift. But the trouble was that the rooms were laid out in a circular formation, and the lift was a glass lift in the central atrium. And it's like, well, there's nothing else I can do. So I crab walked along the corridor, not that I did much use in the glass lift, 360-degree view, and went downstairs and went, you can see what's happened.
You did that, did you?
Here's a key.
Good. So have you got a sort of a
always wear
Kylie,
pyjamas then.
like a Kylie case that you stick the pyjamas in, so with her hair or something? No. Anyway. So you said there's a couple of highlights from your career include Madison Square Garden with Muse.
With Muse, yeah.
How was that?
That was I think I might have actually got to somewhere where I wanted to be moment. That was 12-year-old me will be proud of me tonight.
Right.
Yeah, that was very cool.
And I've got here touring Russia for a month on a private jet with Aha. That must have been tough.
It was certainly eventful because the gear that they could provide out there was not what we needed. The places we were playing, I mean, that's a lot of Russia in a month. We think we probably did about 15 or 16 gigs. So we were going quite off the beaten track, and to get to where we needed to go, they couldn't do it by road. It logistically wasn't possible. So Chris Vaughan, the production manager, to his immense credit, said, "Then we'll get a plane." And we put everything on the plane and put all the crew on the plane and the band on the plane. Quite a lot of caviar and champagne on the plane as well.
Yes. And touring around with 3 tall Norwegian hunks as well. That must have been terrible.
It was hell.
Look at that. Just to show.
Computers to turn no end that when they see feet instead of a face.
But now, is there, Becky, he said knowingly, a yoga move that you could teach our audience here tonight?
Funny you should ask me that, Dave. Yeah. So let's start with. Should we do a couple?
We've got time to do 2.
A couple. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I'd like to do with you is just a little stress relief. So I want you to close your eyes. If you're sitting a bit scrunched over, see if you can sit straight. Close your eyes. And start to focus on your breath. And just notice the sensation of the breath going in and out. Start to notice if the inhales and exhales are of the same length. So counting in your head. There's no right number, just notice what the relationship is. Are they even? And from there, see if you can make your exhale a little longer, maybe 1 or 2 counts longer than your inhale. So what we're doing here, keep doing it, keep the eyes closed, keep extending the exhale. We're engaging the rest response of the autonomic nervous system, taking yourself out of fight or flight. That's a really nice little trick to have up your sleeve next time you're stuck in traffic. Just extending the exhale. You should start to feel your blood pressure lowering, heart rate slowing. And then slowly blink the eyes open. And now one more thing. Let's come to our feet.
Check your wallets first.
Let's all get up on our feet. And just stand nice and even. Weight into both feet. Take the hands on the hips. And start to shift your weight into one foot. Doesn't matter which one. Into one foot. And bring the other foot, bring the heel across to the ankle. Find something to look at that's not going to move. And start to slide your foot up to rest it on the shin.
Don't look at me, anybody.
We're all looking at you.
Finding that gaze point to stare at. Keep breathing. Now close your eyes. Okay. Ah, so you're taking advantage of the free bar.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. I thought it was interactive. Right. Roger, you've got your unicycle. Oh, right. Anyway. Finally, tonight, thank you very much to Becky Pell.